Hello, we welcome you all, and we thank you for taking time to join us today for our Parent Partnership Program session. We're thrilled to be bringing you a second season of our Cadence Parent Partnership conversations. Throughout the year, we look forward to spending even more time with you on topics you've shared that you would like more information about. With more than 30 years in business, Cadence Education has established itself as one of the premier early childhood educators in the United States. We're proud to serve over 30,000 families across the country, operating over 300 private preschool and elementary schools that prepare students to thrive in their school-age years and beyond. At Cadence Education, our promise is to provide parents with peace of mind by giving children an exceptional education every fun-filled day in a place as nurturing as home. We're committed to fostering strong relationships with our families and providing meaningful communication to support your child's development. That's why we appreciate the time that you invest to join us for these important conversations. We want to be an important part of your village. Our webinars are designed to help you navigate common parenting challenges while supporting your child's growth and development. In today's conversation, we're going to discuss a topic that many parents asked about, and the timing happens to be perfect for back to school season. Starting school, increasing your child's confidence and comfort. Starting school and managing changes is something that all young children will experience. And whether you're a new parent or a seasoned one, understanding barriers to developing confidence for managing change and having some tips to rely on can make this experience more manageable and positive for you and your child. We're so glad you're here with us, and we're looking forward to sharing insights and strategies during this session. I'm Maggie Walsh, the Chief Academic Officer here at Cadence Education. I bring over 25 years of experience as a classroom teacher and provider of teacher and leader professional development. Joining me today is my colleague, Shelley.
Thank you, Maggie. Hi, my name is Shelley King, and as Maggie mentioned, we're here today to lead this conversation with you. I'm very honored to be a part of the Cadence Education family. I have more than 35 years of experience in teaching, supporting leadership and school leaders in the education and classroom, and more. I also would like to share that part of my honor and opportunity in the Cadence family as the Senior Director of Classroom Experience is to work with school leadership as well as educators in the classroom to help create environments, curriculum, and activities that help children thrive in their early years. I also have had the opportunity, and I would say a little bit of excitement and a little bit of fear, sending 4 children, not only to pre-K and kindergarten, but elementary and junior high school, and then off to college. So I do understand a little bit of the excitement you have and also a little bit of the nerves that come with that for you and your child. So today's conversation, I'm excited to help lead us through the discussion as we talk about how do we support our children and a little bit of ourselves through different milestones and transitions that come. Our goals today is to learn a little bit of practical strategies that can help you not only prepare them for a new classroom, a new school, or new experiences, but also to help you understand what to expect when they're going through transitions and milestone periods, as well as how to support the social and emotional and well-being for you and your child through these transitions. Essentially, something that we want to do is think about not just having them survive these transitions and changes, but thrive through them and build what will become a growth mindset that will stay with them through their lifetime. So we think that this phrase is just fitting and perfect for today's conversation. The only thing that is truly constant is change. We all experience change in our lifetime. And to kind of put it into context, statistics tell us that the average human is going to meet and build relationships with up to 10,000 new people in the course of their lifetime. For me, that's a really exciting thing. For others, it may not feel as exciting and bring some emotion and feeling. Studies also show us that the human experience Everyone experiences at least one significant change each year of their life. And those types of changes, bigger, smaller, more challenging, or maybe even the positive and exciting ones, are going to be very different for all of us. But what we know is that we all experience change throughout our life. And that means our children as well. They're experiencing some drastic change as they're developing over the years. These changes can be exciting and bring big emotions and a lot of outcome that we have to look forward to, but also they can bring big emotions with fear and nerves for both us and our children. So supporting them through this change, we can help them build resilient self-confidence and again, that growth mindset that they need. As we think and a little bit about the changes that children experience, not only in the world, but also within themselves as they're developing. And Maggie's just going to share some insight with us so we can start with understanding our children and the changes they experience. Thank you, Maggie.
Thanks, Shelley. So, to help prepare children to manage changes, it helps first to understand how infants and young children are wired to manage the world around them. A child's brain and body are uniquely designed to help them process changes and various life experiences. For example, an infant is born with about 100 billion neurons that they will use during their lifetime. These neurons will be used to make the connections needed as their brain develops. Young children learn emotional responses from the world around them, children, and adult models like us. Infants are born initially with about 6 key emotions, mostly related to their senses. Then, as they grow, they will develop these emotions and learn more. The way that we manage responses and reactions are a model for infants and children. They will develop new emotions and learn to recognize, label, and manage them. The way that we prepare them and help them with their emotions and responses today helps play a big role in their resilience and their adaptability in the future. Two of the most important are confidence and kindness.
Thank you, Maggie. So we know that there's so much going on within the minds of a young child, and as they face change, there are going to be some barriers to confidence. Essentially, today, our focus is to help them build their backpack and pack it with tools to help them as they experience change. And as we mentioned, all of these changes can be different. It can include going to a new school, moving to a new home or neighborhood, maybe a change to a new bedroom or a bed, or maybe even a sibling. All of these are something that may be exciting for them and bring big emotion, or can be something that they're fearing or intimidated by. And this can be barriers to their confidence. We can help them overcome this by first understanding, what are we seeing the barriers that our children are feeling? The first one is related to negative self-talk or lack of coping skills, and they're quite related. One way that you can help your child overcome that is to watch for signs that they're too critical of themselves. And it might be when they're trying to do something hard or new, or something that you can do that they cannot. And if you're seeing them get frustrated too easily, and they don't have the words to express that, or they have the words, but the words that come out are negative towards themselves, you can help them change that language. And just one example to that is when a child gets frustrated because they're trying to do something and they cannot do it, they may give up and say, I can't do it. And we want to introduce them to the concept of yet. You may not be able to do it right now, but do your best. Let's do it together, and let them know that yet will come and they will be able to do it. Changing their negative self-talk to a more optimistic, open talk can help them when they're facing a barrier to confidence that's related to change or emotions. One of the other things that's really hard for us as parents and even caregivers is to find that delicate balance between overprotection, giving them too much help and support when they need it, or too much independence. Children grow when they have opportunities to fail in a supported environment. They learn a little bit more about taking careful, calculated risks and where their limit is, and build that confidence to extend beyond that limit. One way that we can do that is to give them some very simple tasks. It could be home chores, it could be things to be responsible for, it can be challenging them when you're out on a walk to do something different that they haven't done, but in a safe way. This allows them to build confidence when they do accomplish the task and for you to make a big deal and celebrate it. But also, if they fail and need to try again, they're failing in a supportive environment with you there to support, encourage, and help them if needed. One other barrier to confidence that we can experience ourselves as adults, and so we can understand why children would, is not understanding the expectation, whether it's the expectation for themselves and what they're supposed to do, or the expectation for the environment and what's to come. So our conversations with them can help them know what to expect. To do that, we'll talk a little bit in a few minutes about how we can ask questions, be more curious about change, and then help them by setting up a little bit of language or storytelling that helps them know what to expect. The last one is a little bit hard for all of us. We all have emotions and we express them in different ways. But when we think about how we talk to our child about the way that they need to express their emotions, use their words is something we use a lot in the adult world. We need to remember that the way that we express our emotions, as Maggie said, helps them build positive emotions themselves, or even new learned negative responses and emotions. So essentially, we want to teach through modeling and learn to express our emotions. It's okay to tell our child that we're feeling a bit frustrated, tired, that we're nervous too. And we also can feel better and talk through it and work through it. All right, so now that we understand a little bit about the barriers, and these aren't the only ones, you want to observe your child and watch to see if there are other barriers that you can help them through. But let's move on to packing their backpack with confidence builders. And these are just a few that we can share first at home and with your interactions, and a little bit about how we do that in our classrooms. Listening actively. We want to start by modeling the approach to asking questions about what they're thinking, what they're nervous about, what they think about their new classroom, but also when a child is sharing, big emotions, or even their behaviors are changing because of a change or a transition they're going through, you want to tap into their feelings. So first asking questions about their feelings and then validating them. This is very different based on the age of your child. Very young children are not going to be able to validate their feelings. So you do a bit of validating for the infant and young toddler, recognizing that they're angry because they're hungry, or they might be cold because they've just gotten a bath. And then using some language while you're doing those care and nurturing routines to work through their emotions and recognizing when they're calm and when things are better because their needs were met. These are the early foundations to later conversations. It's also setting you up to encourage your child to approach new tasks, milestones, and challenges by asking questions themselves. If they're nervous or if they're feeling a big emotion, they can share some questions with you, and that will help you both work through and think of a way to get through, out of, or build their confidence in that emotion. We use some of these same skills and coping tools in our school classrooms. We use these a lot when it's related to things like new schedules, a new environment, and new transition activities. Helping a child to get to know their environment and the schedule and what to expect. We often use visual schedules with pictures that tell them here's what's happening now and here's what's next. Thinking back to them understanding and us helping them set up and having an expectation that builds confidence. Also in a classroom, there's a lot of different emotions happening at different times. So we offer different toolkits and things that children can use. We even offer different ways for them to manage their emotions in simple ways. If we're feeling a big emotion, we can go through a breathing technique and invite them to smell the rose and blow out the candle. This is just an opportunity to take a moment to work through emotions. Using routines and tools like this can offer your child some predictability, and even in the future, offer them some ways that they can actually approach their emotions, validate them, share them, and work through them on their own. And a really good example of that is that idea of using a pinwheel to breathe in and blow out and put the energy into something positive, which kind of parks the big emotion and allows you to maybe go for a walk with your child, sit with a family pet friend, and pet it while you open up. Another good way to do that is through storytelling and letting them tell their story and then helping them work through the story to change it at the end. And open-ended art is a great way. We often find in the classroom, and you can do this at home, offer watercolors, Play-Doh, finger paint, and sit and just paint openly together or do open-ended art. And that can create this connection to their senses that helps calm them and then allows you to have that conversation and talk about emotions. Our classroom toolkits include these types of things. And eventually a child may start with big emotions, but can actually work through the story by choosing one of those their side so they know how it can be done. Here's a few more confidence builders that we are mentioning that I want to build on. And these are really things that we can do starting at home and ending at school. Create a goodbye routine. Your morning routines, your drop-off routines are really important. And creating a goodbye routine that starts at home and then into the car can build your child's confidence and help them tell that story and really kind of learn what to expect for the day. Make sure that your routines offer comfort and predictability. So thinking about starting from home, maybe it's a fun cheer, a family ritual that happens when you're at home. Maybe it's using a positive affirmations jar that you've created together and you pull out and you read something together and you say the affirmation and you take that into the car on your way out the door. The importance of the routine is it offers predictability to your child. Depending on the age of your child, you can actually let them pick some of those routines, and that builds some confidence in them that they get to control some of that routine. They may not be able to control that we are definitely in a Monday and we had a great weekend, but we need to go to school and work. They might not be able to control that, but they can control that routine alongside you. So it can mean as simple as, do you want to drop your backpack off first in our routine and then greet friends? Or do you want me to drop your backpack and you greet friends? Now, once you have that routine, you can make slight adjustments to it, but you want to stick to the routines that they're comfortable with and make slight adjustments that make sense to improve the routine. You also want to practice the routine. So keep it consistent in your existing school or classroom, and then practice it as you're approaching a new routine or new classroom. And again, a lot of these practices you can also incorporate at home when you're changing to a new room or a new bed. A little bit of practice goes a long way. In our schools, we often will send home letters and reminders that transition times are coming. And this is a good time for you to practice stopping by the classroom that your child is going to go to, work with your teachers during parent conferences and discussions to find out, can you do some practice? Often schools will do visit days. Take advantage of all of those things so that you can help your child in setting up and being ready for that new routine. Next is to be consistent. Using positive reinforcement. There are going to be things that happen along the way in your routine. You might be running late. We might forget an item, but positive reinforcement, a little bit of storytelling that has us work through what's happening and know that we're going to get to the other side of it is good. Now, there will be setbacks that come. And so how we react to those setbacks, again, helps our child understand. Oftentimes, a child can be really excited about a new school, a new classroom, sleeping in a new bed, or even a new room all to themselves. And after the routine settles in, they remember what it was like and they miss that. And it's hard to let go of those things. So they will have big emotions. Those are going to come. Don't panic. Stick to the routine. And Maggie's also going to share with you some things that can help you as you navigate that setback.
Thanks, Shelley. So a couple minutes ago, Shelley mentioned how important you are as a role model for your child. And when we're thinking about being role models, it's important to remember that a full bucket is so much more effective when trying to be at our best. So we wanted to spend a couple of minutes just talking about taking care of you and yourself. And I'll start by reminding you that when your child starts school or experiences change, there will likely be some challenges, like Shelley was just talking about. These things are normal. Tears are normal on the first days, maybe even the first few weeks. And like Shelley said, you may even see some sleep or potty training or behavior regression at home, although hopefully it will probably just be temporary. This is normal, as most children just need time to work out their emotions before they can thrive with consistency. At the same time, try to keep in mind that your child can sense your emotions too. So during these periods of change and transition, it's important to try and stay calm and confident. Of course, it's okay to feel your emotions as well. This is a big step for everyone in the family. Just try not to be too hard on yourself or your child. And you can also talk about your feelings with your child. And when you do so, try to use what we call the and versus but approach. So, for example, you might say to your child, I am feeling very nervous about your new school, but I am excited and I am excited about how much you will learn. Statements that are used with and can leave us focusing less about our worries and concerns rather than the positives that are coming along with them. Help yourself and your child by observing other children at school. So you could, for example, schedule a visit in the classroom and you can point out to your child what other kids are doing and what they're enjoying and engaged in. You can help your child to be more excited about establishing their own space in their new school or in their new classroom, like their own special cubby or their art box or their locker or whatever the space is that's designated just for them. Remind your child that everybody is special and everybody has a special place at school. You could also suggest to your child the idea that helping other children and being a friend is a great way to make friends. Invite your child to be a friend, while you also work with making friends with some parents and their children. You can work together to create a daily hello routine, which will help build community. It's also a great example of recognizing and showing kindness to others. When your child is new to class, they might feel alone, but helping them make even just one friend can make a really big difference. The other thing you can do for yourself is to connect with other parents and school staff to give yourself extra support. Ask your child's teacher or your school leader to share with you in Canbu or via a quick call just how your child is doing, especially in those early days. Encourage parents that you meet to say hello to your child when they drop off and pick up during drop off and pickup as well. Taking the time for other adults to acknowledge your child and you doing the same for other children, again, models that kind of empathy that we're looking for and also helps your child build their confidence and security in the new classroom.
Thank you, Maggie. And she shared some really good practices for helping to build that community of kindness around your child. At Cadence Education, we are really proud of what we call the Kind Child community. And it really is about building environments and adults modeling and then children practicing these characters of kindness along the way. We understand that all families experience change, not only at school, but at home. And we want you to consider us part of your community of kindness. Maggie mentioned a few great ways to build relationships with teachers in the classroom, leadership at school, and even other families in the school. But a couple of other ways that you can help your child in terms of building that confidence and getting excited about change and even a new community is to talk to your family and friends. A grandma, a grandpa, an aunt, or an uncle can be a great way to help your child understand and look forward to a change or a milestone in a more positive way. They're older, they have experiences, and they've been through it. So they can talk about what it was like to have a new classroom, to go to school for the first time, and they can share the positive things that happened. Another great way to support your child is through stories. Not only the stories you tell them as you build their confidence and their enthusiasm about their days, but also books to read. Libraries offer some really great resources, and you can even just use a search to help you as you search for books. These are just a few examples that we love. In the Coffee Bean for Kids, children can learn that they can make good things out of challenges and frustrating change that comes. In the book, It's All Right, It's Okay, through the character, a child understands it's okay to be sad and that when we ask for help, things are going to be okay. In The Little Black Cloud, they learn about sharing our emotions and how important that is, the range of emotions we have. And then they also learn about feeling empathy for others and building in their toolbox as they help others and feel things. All children love to be a superhero or have superpowers. And in the book, Kindness is My Superpower, they really understand through the character that they have the power to choose an emotion and to choose to be kind and practice that every day. So think about adding stories that will help you from things about kindness, things about change, books about going back to school or milestones that are coming to use as you prepare your child for these emotions. We've given you a lot of information in a little time. Maggie's going to share with you just a little bit of ways that you can look for additional help if you need more.
Thanks, Shelley. I also just want to briefly recap some of the takeaways from today's webinar. And we both hope that you're already thinking of which of these strategies you can begin to use as you help your child build confidence and kindness. So first, you can support your child by working to balance overprotection and opportunity, the lack of clear understanding of expectations and change, and negative self-talk. Next thing you can do is employ your active listening skills and your regular communication, because that helps children build clear expectations and express their emotions. Next, establish routines and don't forget to practice them. Finally, remember yourself and your own journey through this big change. We will be sharing a handout with the ideas and resources that we noted in today's session, along with a recording of this webinar in a follow-up email sometime next week. We encourage collaboration between parents and educators at our schools to create supportive environments for children. And we want you to remember that additional help is available. So if you've tried some or many of these strategies and you still don't feel like things are improving, please reach out to your school director to create a plan or seek additional advice. Because the reality is our directors and teachers have supported so many families who have children that are new to care, transitioning to new classrooms or teachers, or just navigating other types of life's big changes. We've got just a couple of minutes to try and address some of the very many questions that were submitted on this topic. We have far more that were submitted than we'll have time to answer in today's webinar, but we are going to put together an FAQ in which we'll work to answer the majority of the questions that were submitted on this topic. For today, we're going to answer just 2 of the questions that we think represent some of the most common questions submitted by our families. I'll take the first one. This family is wondering, is there a time that is too late to start school or childcare that makes transitions harder? Is it better to start as young as possible? And what I'll say to this is, like I mentioned before, remember that children's brains are at their most plastic when they're young. By the time a child is 5, their brain has already grown to 90% of its adult size. And this just means that the younger they are when they're exposed to new routines and changes, the easier and faster they will learn to adjust. With this in mind, starting school or care at a younger age is usually a good idea. That said, every family knows their child best, and each family's circumstances are unique. Shelley, I'll give you the other question that we have time for. This family is wondering, how can parents help transition their child from one room to a new room or teacher?
That's a great question. I mentioned that sometimes our schools will send letters home to let parents know transitions are coming. Children will get the opportunity to practice, but that doesn't always happen if you're moving to a new classroom or a new school. So that idea of practice makes progress is important. Make sure you ask a lot of questions. Take time to go and visit the new classroom. Ask a little bit about what's happening in the classroom and their routine. Notice even when you're in the the classroom with your child, the things that they might be drawn to and looking for, and really pay focus on that, whether it's a specific area in the classroom, a specific interest that your child has. That's really important. And then oftentimes that milestone where they're going to a new school or a new classroom means new things that are exciting, like a new playground or a space in the classroom that their classroom before didn't have. So consider really leaning into that. And when you're talking in the car and during your story time or over the weekend, bring it back to some of those positive things that even though change happens and it can be scary, there are really good things that come with it. So we want to be willing to move through it, address our emotions, and then look forward to those good things that come. Thank you,
Thank,
Maggie.
yeah, thank you. I know we'll get to those other questions in our FAQ. Okay, so we also want to note that we're going to be hosting a variety of additional webinars on a range of topics, beginning again next month in September and continuing into the spring of next year. Some of the topics that we'll be presenting on include what to do about how to manage biting and hitting, how to prepare your child for toilet training, thinking about managing big emotions, and making the transition from pre-K into kindergarten. We would love it if you would join us next month on September 23rd for our next webinar, which is going to be on managing meltdowns. And if you wouldn't mind taking time to scan this QR code and give us some feedback on today's session, we'd really appreciate it. We are so glad you joined us today, and thank you for your time and input.
Thank you, everybody.